I live in rural Arkansas. And if you don't understand why people in rural Arkansas or rural America vote Republican, it's because of fear and jealousy. Jealousy that somebody has it better than they do, that they work their ass off, and most of them do. More education, because the education here is at the bottom of the tier.
What's the message?
Jesus died on that cross so we could live, and this is not living.
Amen. I respect that.
I'm 65 years old. I'm legally blind. I'm on disability. I went to my doc, and I lost 28 pounds in the last year. I did not need to lose 28 pounds. I did not try to lose 28 pounds. I lost the 28 pounds because I cannot afford to eat anymore. Under Biden, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Under Biden, I was able to put $100 a month away for food, along with my SNAP, and I did okay. I could get fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, and meat. It is just me. But now, with grocery prices so high, propane, electricity out of this world, I now only allow myself $65 a month for food.
Sharon, are you on SNAP benefits?
Let me tell you, under Joe Biden, I received $80 a month for SNAP. That was taken away from me under Donald Trump. He took it away. He gave me $24 a month. I did receive that for a couple of months. Then he took it down to $12.50 a month. I said, screw you.
All right, so look, let me tell you a truth that don't nobody want to say out loud. American citizens are being priced out of existence, and more people have stopped paying bills than they want to admit.
Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. In case you're new here, my name is Maren.
And I'm Maureen. So in today's episode, we're going to be talking about rural America and how white Americans cannot keep up under the Trump administration, especially the MAGA Republicans who voted him in.
Right, MAGA nuts are right now feeling very disappointed in the president they chose, right? But some may say they're getting exactly what they voted for. But guys, what are we talking about? Let's watch what is going on and then we come back and talk about it. You can let us know what you think about this episode. Also consider subscribing if it's your first time here.
Right, but in today's episode, this is a clear testament of how exactly racism can be very, very expensive, because we're also gonna be hearing from a white woman who lives in rural Arkansas, and she is apparently an engineer. I don't know if it's true, and she says why it's racism is expensive because they voted a white man in instead of voting for a person of color, just because that person of color was not white, yet he was educated enough. And right now she believes he could have brought change to Arkansas more than the current governor they have. But guys, let's watch and then we come back and talk about it.
I live in rural Arkansas. And if you don't understand why people in rural Arkansas or rural America vote Republican, it's because of fear and jealousy that somebody has it better than they do, that they work their ass off, and most of them do. More education, because the education here is at the bottom of the tier. Maternal mortality, low. Education, low. Quality of living, low. Infrastructure, super low. There's no industry. There's no hope for these young kids in rural Arkansas to have a job. We had a chance to vote Chris Jones, an actual rocket scientist like myself who was educated and had a plan to bring jobs and infrastructure to Arkansas. But the people I talked to who in rural Arkansas will not vote for him because of his color of his skin. And they weren't nice when they described the color of his skin. So they voted for a sycophant, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, who is treating this like her personal money bank. There is no infrastructure here. The roads are shit. You can drive 2 hours. So my closest grocery store, besides Walmart, is 2 hours away. So if I go that 2 hours to go to that grocery store, the roads I have to take are barely have enough room for two people to pass each other. There is no cell phone coverage for over an hour and a half of that ride. And there's no hope to get those roads fixed anytime soon because there's no money. I say that, but lo and behold, what did Sarah do as of July of 2025? She has loaned and bought $55 million worth of Israeli bonds. So she's loaned Israel $55 million with a catch to give them 100 more million by the end of the year. When her people are fucking starving, they have no medical care. Hell, most teenage girls here are living at home pregnant with their moms. And they're living at home with their moms and their boyfriends. Because that's how rural America lives. There's nothing for these kids to look forward to. So why would they ever vote Republican? Because that's what they're told to do. $150 million would go a long way to feed, get medical attention, and up our so that our children here in Arkansas don't die in infancy.
We don't have the finances to get groceries. If it wasn't for these food pantries and Feeding Tampa Bay, we wouldn't be able to survive. And that's really tough.
Well, right now there are more than 1,000 people in line here at Feeding Tampa Bay to try and get food assistance. Look at all that. The line has been going for several hours now as people wait for Feeding Tampa Bay to open up. That's because the SNAP benefits that they had relied on have expired and this month's payments have not yet arrived. The federal government does say that they're going to be providing potentially half of those payments after a court order, but it remains to be seen as to when those payments can be sent. Right now, there are 500,000 people in Tampa Bay who depend on SNAP payments, and right now it is unclear as to when those payments are going to be coming in. Feeding Tampa Bay says they expect 1,000 people to try and get extra food to feed their families over the coming days. For more, head to fox13news.com. Check out our Fox Local app.
Did you guys hear about the rural town that cheered on this administration's cuts for hospitals until their hospitals got cut? To break this down, I'm bringing in contributor Chris Mowry. Watch until the end and check this out. Thank you.
All right, there's a really wild story I want to talk about today. There's a small town in Missouri, a rural area that overwhelmingly voted for Trump, and they only have one hospital in this area. It's been serving the community for over 7 decades, has stayed open as the community has shrunk. They used to have a Walmart, the only Walmart in the area, closed, and through a lot of economic downturn, they have been able to stay open. But unfortunately, because of Donald Trump's big, beautiful bill, there are fears that it may close in a town that overwhelmingly voted for Trump. And frankly, I don't think they realized they were voting for this. And I want to talk about it today. Before we get into it, if you're new here, it would mean a lot if you click like and subscribe. I'm 23 years old. My name's Chris Mowry. I'm basically a Gen Zer who screams all the time about how Republicans suck. So if you want to stay on top of the news, here's some of my takes. It would mean a lot if you subscribe down below. Before we hop into this story, this is a theme we're seeing with MAGA and Trump supporters. And I don't really know how I feel so much of saying, fuck around, find out, like these people deserve what they're getting. I really think most of the blame should go to Donald Trump for conning the American public. But at some level, I see you guys in the comments, I hear you, it's kind of mind-boggling. This went really viral the other day. This is on LinkedIn, oddly enough. A woman who owns a business. I've been getting a lot of hateful messages since my last post about my business struggles. Yes, my husband did vote for Trump. Yes, Trump's tariffs have seriously disrupted my supply chain and hurt my business. That said, I still support my husband. He voted for what he truly believed was right. It's complicated, but so is life. But like on an issue like this, is it complicated though? Really? This is where I get to the point where I'm like, okay, fuck around, find out. He told you 1,000,000 times he's going to implement tariffs. And it really was pretty simple. He was lying to your face when he said tariffs are paid for by other countries. People like you and I screamed, hey, they're not. They're going to be paid for by American businesses, and this could really hurt. You can let me know what you think down below. But we see people like Ellie just in the last few days, a month ago. Latinas for Trump co-founder blast, quote, inhumane immigrant arrest. Florida State Senator and co-founder of Latinas for Trump issued a stark rebuke of President Trump on Sunday as his administration seeks to ramp up deportations and other actions against migrants without legal status. Garcia took particular issue with reported tactics in southern Florida, where immigration officials have allegedly been making arrests in immigration courts and taking other steps to target individuals otherwise in compliance with legal orders. She posted on Twitter, quote, "This is not what we voted for. I have always supported Trump through thick and thin. However, this is unacceptable and inhumane." Regardless of how you feel toward these individuals, we're here now.
And we're in trouble. We are completely in trouble. And I think a 91-year-old white woman said it better than anyone's ever said it. And that was this past summer. This white woman in Houston, Texas got arrested for shoplifting. And her picture went around the world. And Americans sent that woman $25,000. And she held a press conference and said, thanks, but no thanks. I don't need your $25,000. I need you to change the conditions that reduces people like me into shoplifting. And I love that because it embarrassed me, because that old white woman upset me, because if my grandmother was alive in 91 and got caught shoplifting and white America sent her $20,000, she'd have got on TV praising God and talking about what a good country this is. But that woman put it right. I need you to change the conditions that reduces me down. And that's a funny thing, because when you get people that's Christians that really believe in God, that get reduced down to stealing, then you lose that thing. And if America is not watching, we in trouble.
Hey, white people. Are prices getting too high? Oh, wow. They're getting too high for black people, too. Is rent starting to feel like a practical joke? Same for black people. Hey, white people. Are grocery prices making you think that you need to start your own farm in the backyard just to have food for the winter? Oh, wow. Black people are feeling the same thing. The rich folks and their corporations do that to us because most of them do not really care or even truly understand what happens to us when they grab all that money. They just know that if black people and white people are fighting each other, they're not fighting them.
I'm not into politics, but I know what's right and what's wrong.
And what's wrong right now?
The way Trump is treating us and treating us poor people. I mean, it's bad because he's never been poor. He's always had that gold spoon in his mouth ever since.
What? What would you tell me?
Go take a hike and let somebody else have a job.
I am so confused as to what is happening right now. And listen, I'm not by any means like trying to pick on anybody. And shout out to the creator of this video. This is from Now. This is Impact. But seriously, all across America right now, we are seeing a lot of MAGA voters, especially in a lot of these rural counties. They're starting to experience a lot of the policies that they voted into office. And the fact that in this video, and you know, I get it, she's probably mad or whatever the case is, but the fact that in this video, she said that Trump never experienced, you know, being poor in his life and all these different things. It's almost as if she didn't know that before she even voted him into office in the grand scheme of things. And I'm like, I'm so confused. But ultimately, a lot of people who voted for Trump in this past election really aren't in the tax bracket to really truly benefit from the policies that a lot of things that he's put into place. They thought that they would benefit from it, but it just sounded good in the grand scheme of things, and they didn't understand how it would truly impact them in their situation. It's crazy, but however, we're gonna dive deeper into this situation. Check this out.
To forego basically every conservative issue and let the Senate fall into the hands of Democrats if that's what it takes to kill data centers.
Yep. My entire community is going to break rank.
Yeah, and that's the thing. When I see a lot of these videos, guys, people are starting to flip sides. And it's not even that they are not supporting of Republicans. However, a lot of Republicans are in support of so many different policies across the country that they fundamentally just don't agree with. That's the part about the situation. And when I see videos like this, like, it's almost as if people just voted based off of identity. Well, not almost as if. That's exactly what happened. So many people came in to see the last election and saw, oh, I like Trump. Trump Trump is a cool dude. Oh, he's funny. He's hilarious. This is my favorite one. He's a businessman, right? Great, 100%. And I'm not telling you who to support. That's the thing about this. You can support whoever you want to support. But when it comes down to seeing a lot of things that are going on in the country, you can't come back around and be mad, because these are things that he fundamentally said he was going to do in the first place. Now, he did lie about a couple things with no new wars and bringing the cost of living. Well, not a couple, a lot of things. But a lot of things are things that he actually said he was going to put in place. That's the sad part about this. But hey, let's check this out. This is a town right here, a MAGA town, rural, that basically is pushing back after some of the Trump policies. It's crazy, guys.
Just 50 miles from the Canadian border, the town of Freud is home to less than 200 people. For more than a decade, Roberto Orozco Ramirez has been one of them.
Roberto's our neighbor. He's a part of our community.
Over the years,
if you want to know how big of a problem hunger is in rural America, spend time at a mobile food bank.
It's 90% of what I consume.
74-year-old Lorna Hall made sure to be the first at this line in Clinton, Missouri.
You've been here since last night.
Yeah.
It's that important to get what you need.
Yes. And I don't keep the car running. I can't afford the gas. So I have sleeping bags to stay warm.
All right, so look, let me tell you the truth that don't nobody want to say out loud. American citizens are being priced out of existence. And more people have stopped paying bills than they want to admit. Now, I'm not talking about just a few people slipping through the cracks. I'm saying that the cracks have widened so big that whole communities are slipping through them. And this isn't about laziness. This is not a problem of bad budgeting. Well, sometimes it's bad budgeting, but you get what I'm saying. The problem is beyond budgeting. What it's really about is an economy that has been stretched past its breaking point. The cost of survival has been raised higher than human beings can reach. Think about your own life. You go to work, you get paid, rent takes the whole check before you get your next breath out. Just instantly, boom, gone. You walk into the grocery store with money in your pocket, and then you walk out the grocery store with 2 little ass bags that barely last a week. Maybe a couple days if you're lucky. You stand at the gas pump and you watch the numbers spin and rise faster than your paycheck ever will. You go to the mailbox and it's nothing but more demand, more bills, and more weight you can't carry. And this cycle repeats itself day after day, month after month, year after year. And people are tired. Not just physically tired. People are burned out.
I'm going to show you what a real apology looks like. I'm going to show you what it looks like to realize that you screwed up big and you screwed other people because of how you voted. A 3-time Trump voter called into C-SPAN and said, I was really wrong, and people are suffering. And this 3-time Trump voter breaks down. It's really a MAGA cultist leaving the cult. He goes, I apologize to all of America. There is a lot to learn from this.
Cleveland, Ohio, Republican, you're on Open Forum.
Well, I'd like to first say I apologize to all of America and all of Americans. I was a diehard Republican. I cannot believe I drank the Kool-Aid, okay? I am guilty. I drank the Kool-Aid of Donald J. Trump. In fact, I don't even know why we keep saying Donald J. Trump. This man is ruining the Constitution of the United States. What's going on in these southern states, Louisiana and Virginia, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, they're taking away the vote from the black man, the fight from the black people that are part of our country. They're stealing their vote. They're making it null and mean nothing. And we need to, I don't know what we need to do, but I'm not going to vote for Donald Trump. I know that this country, if you see all the corruption, the billions of dollars that the Trump family is grabbing, and he says it's never about the money. It's all about the money, the lies that come out of this man's mouth. Everything he says is not true is exactly what is true. I don't know what needs to be done, but the Democrats need to grab the helm and lead the people what we need to do. They are overwhelming the system of democracy. He wants the Strait of Hormuz open. Guess what? Before he went there, it was open, and the gas prices were beautiful. I mean, everything.
All right, listen, I think you get it. I think this is a lot more than just one guy apologizing. It, of course, matters that this guy regrets voting for Trump. Cool. Step one. Step two, he's publicly admitting it. That's good. Number three, he's actually apologizing and not one of these, I apologize if anyone was offended. I apologize. That alone is a level of self-awareness and humility that is pretty rare in American politics, and especially when things are as polarized as they are today. For every Republican voter willing to say stuff like this publicly, there are hundreds or thousands quietly thinking the exact same thing privately.
Think of it this way. It's like we're playing a football game, but we're competing against the other half of our own team and thinking that somehow will make us win. All the while ignoring the other team. And they get to do whatever they want because we are distracted. It's pretty clear who wins in that scenario, isn't it? And it's sure not our team. But if our team, of all of us who are in the same boat, black, white, brown, any other color, what a difference we could make. I have an idea. Since we're all in the same boat, why don't we team up and row it together so we can go the same direction? We can unite and work together to fight the real problem instead of each other. One of us alone cannot fight the rich guys with all their money. Well, with all our money. But if all of us can get on the same team and fight the right enemy, we can. All these boycotts that keep coming up, participate in them. You know, I'm not an expert, just a learner. Join me. Use my name, followed by .art, to see more about me or help me do this work. Get curious.
So guys, welcome back. Let us know what you think about the videos you just played. You know, I feel like food is a very important basic need that when one misses it, they're not gonna be functioning properly, right? And here, listening to Americans complain, especially white Americans, those who chose to vote in Donald Trump, I feel like what they're describing is what was used to be termed as African problems, right? Because they're talking about how they can go for days on without food, right? They're talking about how right now kids are, especially young girls, are staying with their parents and they're getting pregnant at an early age. And I feel like this is what the media and the Western countries used to say about Africa. When I hear people talk about infrastructures not being maintained in America, how roads are being run down because they're not being maintained, and I'm like, you know, when you talk about bad roads, it's only Africa that used to be associated with these kind of problems, right?
Right. That when you put America in the same sentence right now, it almost sounds unreal to people like me, but I know it's real because these are multiple people who are coming out on the internet to complain about this, you know. And right now it's very evident that if you're poor in America, the elderly cannot really keep up with Trump's economy, right? Most of them are really seeking help in food banks, and that is if they can get help at all, because we also saw a story of another elderly woman who had to sleep outside the food bank because there was such a huge line and she wanted to get something for herself, right? And the thing is this, right now, there was a woman who called in and she was saying that under Biden they were getting SNAP benefits of $80, right? And right now in Trump's administration it was cut down to $12. And my thing is this, even here in Africa, $12 cannot help sustain somebody's life. So I can only imagine in a big economy like America and how Americans are being heavily taxed, what $12 can do for somebody for a whole month.
Right. So this is quite a sad situation, but the saddest part of it all is the fact that Black Americans did warn everybody. Black Americans, they didn't send out a prophecy. It was a warning, because Black Americans have been on the receiving end of such kind of treatment, where the areas where they're coming from are being neglected when it comes to their government. They don't give enough funds in order for them to progress when it comes to development, So right now, it's not just the Black American community, but even white Americans are feeling this heavy economic situation.
Right. And the funniest thing is, right now, there was a time that Black Americans were telling people that racism, especially white people, right, that racism is very expensive. And white people would laugh in their faces telling them that they're too lazy and that they should get a job, or they should just work hard enough for them to get a better life, right? And right now, it's reached a point where it's not as funny as they used to think, right? Even them themselves are coming onto the internet preaching about how expensive racism is. But at this point, the real question is, are they really ready to let go of their racism in order for them to also benefit from this economy? Because when it comes down to it, it is not a matter of race, but it is a matter of 1% versus the 99%. That is the rich versus the poor. Right. And it doesn't matter if you're a rich white man or a rich black man. So long as you're rich, they belong in the same club. And if you're poor, and if you're a white poor person, you'll also still belong in the same club, right?
Right. It's quite sad that people would live like this for them to get to understand what another group of people are going through,
And even at that, most of them are not willing to change, because you heard of the woman who was saying about the early pregnancy. She says that even those kids will still always be voting Republican because that is what they're told to do.
And the most unfortunate part of it all is that when this was happening to the Black American community, I feel like the culture baby mama was connotated with so much negativity. Instead, it should have been taken with a lot of understanding, the understanding to try and find out why is this happening in this community, And, right now it's happening to the white kids, and you don't hear people say that white kids are immoral, they're not being parented well. I mean, things that come along with poverty are such things, because people don't have jobs, which clearly the government is failing to create enough of right now, So people are quite idle. There's a lot of things people can do to pass time that isn't necessarily productive, and that is what is happening. I don't know to what extent America is going to experience this, and what the impact of it all it's gonna be, and how long it will take the next president to try and get the country to a better place than it is right now, because it's being destroyed. And the country is honestly, at this point, you can say it's a third world country. The country is no longer functioning as it used to be, and people are really feeling the difference in how living in the economy of America is very different from what it used to be different presidents ago,
And I also saw a video on TikTok, several videos actually, of people from Arkansas. And most of them were complaining that that is a place where the government long forgot about. And most of them were even saying that the reason why it's even dilapidated is there are no investors going into that place, right? The only job that people, even education, there are no new schools being built in that region, and it's very, very, the ones that exist is very, very poor compared to some states in America. And these people were saying that when you're born in Arkansas, the biggest thing you can wish for is growing up and working in a factory or in Amazon. There's no education system, there is no new developments happening, and like literally people have nothing to do. When the minute you're born, you know your goal is to work for an Amazon store.
That is really, really sad. And companies,
like
businesses,
like slavery or some sort, because they're being denied means to getting. They're being conditioned to believe that as you grow up, the earlier you can work, the better. You can only get salaries from those companies, and there's no new investors coming in, and also they're not being given adequate education, so in such a way that they can get out of that place and still go and make a life out there for themselves, because they're complaining the education system is really not working.
Right. And guys, for companies to move into a region, it means the economic state of it has to be good. There has to be cash flow in that region, right? So my question is, why exactly is there no type of cash flow or new jobs being created in America? Because you look at the state of it and you wonder, all the money and taxes they collect. America is a very rich country, I have to say. There was a point where taxes were being collected like a lot of money, So do you think the government's spending of your tax dollars is the correct way? Because you have to ask yourself, why do they need to give outsiders money in huge amounts when infrastructures, exactly, when infrastructures itself are being run down because they're not being well maintained? That is something I feel like the citizens will have to do something about, because if the more you're doing nothing about it, the more they're just leaving you to be on your own mercy,
Right. So guys, let us know what you think about this episode down on the comment section, and also consider subscribing if you're new to our channel, and we'll see you on our next episode.